Namaskaram and a very warm welcome to all of you, to our dedicated trainees embarking on this rigorous 42-day Technical Teachers Certificate program. First of all, huge congratulations on taking this massive step in your educational careers. I know you're all eager to gather the absolute best tools for your future classrooms. And well, today we're going to unpack one of the most powerful pedagogical tools you will ever use. We're talking about the interview method. Consider this explainer your essential, go-to guide for mastering this technique. We're going to take it from just being a simple conversation and turn it into a strategic, highly effective educational instrument. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. We've got 5 clear milestones to hit. First, decoding the interview method. Second, pros and cons analyzed. Third, 3 types of interviews. Fourth, 6 steps for success. And finally, practical uses in education. This structured approach is going to make these concepts super digestible for your training. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Decoding the Interview Method. Take a look at this master blueprint. It's a really beautifully laid out bilingual poster in both English and Telugu. For many of you, seeing the script of your home state right there alongside the English is going to feel comfortably familiar. And honestly, that's exactly the point. Good communication always starts with familiarity. So over the next few minutes, we're going to break down this entire toolkit piece by piece and translate this broad infographic into actionable steps that you can actually use in your classrooms. So what is it exactly? The interview method is formally defined as a scientific technique of collecting information by interacting and talking with individuals. I really want you to focus on 2 specific phrases here, scientific technique and interacting, because in an educational setting, an interview isn't just a casual chat over a cup of chai, right? It's intentional, it's highly structured. It is a purposeful, verbal communication method designed to uncover specific, really valuable data about your students' learning, their overall well-being, or the challenges they might be facing. Let's break down its core features, and I want you to think about these like a senior professor evaluating a classroom dynamic. First up, it obviously involves face-to-face direct verbal interaction. But the real magic, that happens in the 2nd and 5th points here. It helps you understand feelings in absolute depth, and it allows for the observation of nonverbal responses. Think about it. If you ask a student if they understood the lesson, they might say yes. But what if their eyes are glued to the floor and their arms are crossed? That nonverbal cue is pure data. And that's exactly why this method is so highly flexible. Clarifications can be obtained immediately. If you see that hesitation, you can pivot and ask a follow-up question right then and there. Moving right along to Section 2, Pros and Cons Analyzed. Now, what's really fascinating here is the delicate balance this method strikes. Over on the left side, look at the immense power you hold. You can build amazing rapport, uncover hidden motives, and connect with individuals regardless of their literacy level. That is absolutely beautiful for inclusive education. But look at the harsh reality on the right. It's incredibly time-consuming. You literally cannot individually interview a class of 60 students every single day. On top of that, the results are highly dependent on your personal skill, and they're very susceptible to your own biases. As a teacher, you have to constantly ask yourself, am I actually hearing what the student is saying, or am I just hearing what I want to hear? Which brings us to Section 3, 3 types of interviews. Think of this table as your mental categorization tool. It's basically a spectrum. At the very top, we have the structured interview. Every single question is pre-planned and asked in a fixed, rigid order. It's almost like a verbal survey, you know? Very reliable, but very stiff. Down to the bottom, you've got the unstructured interview. This is a totally free-flowing, flexible conversation. Perfect for when, say, a student comes to you crying and you just need to figure out what's wrong. You wouldn't pull out a clipboard for that, right? You just talk. And then right in the sweet spot in the middle is the semi-structured interview. You've got a few key questions prepared to guide you, but you have the total freedom to explore interesting answers as they naturally come up. For us in education, this is likely going to be your most used format. Let's get into the actual how-to with Section 4, 6 steps for success. Okay, so the crucial thing to understand here is how these 6 steps flow together, almost like a story. Let's imagine you're preparing to help a student who is really struggling. Step 1, define your objective. Why are we even talking? Okay, they're failing math. Step 2, prepare clear, simple questions about their study habits. Step 3, select the right time. You definitely don't want to pull them aside when they're frantically rushing to catch the bus. But please, pay super close attention to Step 4, establish rapport. My dear trainees, this is absolutely crucial. It's literally the hinge upon which the entire process swings. If you don't create a friendly atmosphere and build trust, well, Steps 5 and 6 are basically useless. A scared student is simply not going to give you accurate information. Once that trust is there, you conduct the interview by listening. I mean, really, truly listening. And finally, you review the info to make sure you understood them perfectly. And finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, Practical Uses in Education. This just brilliantly illustrates the sheer versatility of the method. You are going to use this far beyond just grading papers. You'll use it in student counseling when you're trying to guide a bright but maybe distracted youth. You might use it in educational research if you pursue higher studies and want to see how a new teaching method is actually landing. It's even used in personnel selection. In fact, remember, you yourselves will very likely be interviewed for your future teaching posts using these exact same techniques. So whether you're acting as a counselor, a researcher, or a classroom teacher, unlocking those in-depth opinions is a massively vital part of your job. Before we finish up today, I want you to consider this very simple yet incredibly profound statement from our source material. Talking and listening is the first step towards understanding. Just let that sink in for a second. As teachers, we spend a whole lot of time talking at our students. The interview method is our powerful reminder of the equal, if not greater, importance of actually listening to them. Which brings us to this final, really powerful thought, a mantra I'd love for you to carry into your classrooms. Ask with sensitivity, listen with sincerity, obtain accurate information. If you can master that specific balance, that sensitivity to build trust, and the deep sincerity to truly hear what is being said, you won't just be teaching your students, you will be truly understanding them. And honestly, that is where real education begins. Thank you so much for joining me, trainees. I challenge you to practice these exact steps today. So, who are you going to listen to with complete sincerity next?